he was responding to AOC and at Zaza. And oh, you didn't untag the other person, so you thought that other person was AOC. Well, of course that other person is going to reply in the first person. But then Niko, when you blew this up, when you went to town and you were like, holy I found AOC's burner account, and then everyone else was like, whoa, he found AOC's burner account and ran with it. Holy it was too late. It was too late. Way too embarrassing to admit that you don't fully know how to use this website, and in this case you thought they were replying to you. This is how Twitter works. Of course. That doesn't make it AOC's banner. Time for The Legend of Zaza Demon. This one is one that I think by the time this gets out, it's already going to be a mainstream story. As of right now, it has not reached the Tucker Carlsons of the world, hasn't gotten to the Glenn Greenwald heights, but I contend it'll be there soon. Very, very shortly. The Legend of Zaza Demon, because it's already reached Marjorie Taylor Greene, and so that means it's only moments away. Oh, and Matt Walsh as well. Matt Walsh has seen this. So apparently Niko House has found a secret hidden code and cracked the AOC burner account. Let's listen in.
Y'all never gonna believe this. So here I am, minding my own business, going around Twitter, calling out politicians' blatant hypocrisy like I normally do, and I come across a video from AOC. So in this particular video, AOC meets the creator of Libs of TikTok for the second time, but this time she acted super outraged. She said, "You're actually transphobic, and I don't want to share any space with you." And she was like, super brave all of a sudden, right? So I just reminded her.
Again, I'm all for going after AOC for the things that AOC has done. Like if she votes present when she could have done a swing vote or influence something or increases the funding of certain things that she condemns, stuff like that, supporting Israel. That's stuff you can criticize AOC for. For her standing up to Higher I Check, and as soon as she was told that that was Higher I Check, because I mean, Higher I Check flexing about how AOC didn't recognize her. It's like, I'm so forgettable. She had no idea who I was. And then AOC just straight up being like, yo, you're a transphobic piece of shit. I don't want anything to do with you. I mean, that was based.
That she isn't actually all that brave, and she's actually not all that much of an ally, and she's not as averse to bigots as she pretends to be at times, right? So as you can see right here, I said, but you vote to send money to Nazis and to fund the Israeli apartheid. But at least you stood up to a TikTok star. And this account randomly responds to me saying, LOL, and what makes you think that I did anything to support Nazis? You're delusional. Seek help. Obviously, I thought that was a little bit peculiar because all of a sudden this...
Now, there's two ways this could go. Either this individual in question, Niko House, does not fully know how to use Twitter, and in this case, he may have not untagged another person who was tagged in a tweet he was replying to. That could be option one. Option two is that AOC has a secret burner account, the likes of which she's actually been using for years to like and get horny on main on the pornos. Could be, and goes by the name of Zaza Demon. Zaza Demon, yes.
Random account speaking in first person when I'm directly responding to AOC, and like, why would I think a random account is sending money to Nazis, right? So I was like, maybe I'm just tripping. Then she responds again. It says, and hiding behind being a TikTok star, like, I don't know, you get over yourself.
See, here's the thing. In some ways, if I really suspend my disbelief, I can start to believe that this is kind of how AOC types on, not really, I've never seen her actually type like this, but maybe she like, it could be like code switching of the Twitter variety, you know, when she tries to pretend to be Zaza Demon.
I was confused, so they responded twice. So as I began to put the pieces together, I'm like, let me check if they deleted the tweets, because I think that I just figured out some shit. Y'all, she deleted the tweet. It was in this moment that I realized we have just found one of AOC's burner accounts.
The evidence submitted to the court in this case, this is in fact AOC's secret burner account that has also been liking porn on main. Not sure why AOC was spending time both speaking in the first person, then switching back and forth, and then confusing, and then finding time again to get horny on main to like some pornos. But either way, is that, in this case, that account responded, and it seemed as if it was writing in the first person. Now, even though AOC happens to be a very famous politician, a very famous public figure who has literally millions of people who know who she is and also talk about her and respond to things that she does or talk about, could be anyone. The evidence is pretty striking. In this case, someone wrote in the first person in a reply to Niko and then deleted the tweet after they got attention from a larger account, aka Niko House. That's, at this time, the evidence submitted to the courts. So this was interesting. Things got a little more wild, because here comes Ian Miles Chong. What did Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez mean by this? Matt Walsh. I came to the conclusion years ago that the trans movement is the greatest evil our country faces. I only become more and more sure of this fact with each passing day, and more determined to oppose it until my last breath. And in enters Zaza Demon. You are a hateful little freak, and I can't wait until you piss off a trans person that is actually as unhinged as you claim to say that they all are. Can't be a bigot if you're no longer breathing, smiley face. Whoa, if this is in fact the secret account of AOC, that means that AOC was throwing a death threat directly in the face of Matt Walsh, pundit and transphobe Matt Walsh. Whoa, things are getting more wild. This conspiracy's got teeth. And then, ba-bam! In enters a new challenger approaches. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. My God, from the House of Representatives, we have a representative, someone who is appearing on 60 Minutes. This you, AOC? Zaza Demon is your burner account? That is a disturbing name. Excited to see an unhinged trans murder a member of the conservative press, Matt Walsh. If I'm being real, here's where I should have just jumped in and been like, oh, this is fun. I should have realized this was getting funny at this point, okay? At this point, my instant inclination was like, holy shit, I saw the early rumblings of this one online yesterday. Like yesterday, I was watching this all percolate, starting to bubble, and I was like, well, this is some foolishness that's going on over in this corner of the internet. Surely it's not going to grow to any larger heights than where it's at right now, relegated to a section of Twitter for sure, of which the terminally online are laughing and or agreeing, but that's where it's going to stay for now. And then by the morning, it was like, and by the evening, this could very well be on Tucker Carlson. I mean, prove me wrong, Tucker. I will be quite astounded if there's not a segment on this in one way, shape, or form. I'm gonna guess you're gonna pull on Greenwald would be a good person to tap into for this one. This might even be a little bit past Greenwald, because this is a really embarrassing one for all of you to be hitching on so tightly to, as in like, holy shit, this is happening right now. I think Matt Walsh, if I'm not mistaken, actually has also tweeted about this. Hold on. Hi, AOC. This isn't you wishing death on me, is it? Many are speculating that this is your burner account. You need to come out and denounce this kind of rhetoric, or we can only assume that you support it. So, okay, it's going mainstream. It's going prime time. So I wanted to talk about a couple things. Now, I'm not going to be able to click on this link, but if you go to twitter.com/theserfstv, you will be able to find the original post where you can find that this account, Zaza Demon, has in fact liked some pretty horny posts on main, and it's pretty unusual that this account, even if it was AOC, was spending the time to both like some posts and like some sex workers and like some sex workers posts, and then also go back to writing in the first or third person depending on the situation. If the evidence is pretty much that this account has in one moment or another liked AOC's posts or has retweeted AOC stuff, as have tens of thousands of other accounts, that's not a lot to go on. If it's that this person replied to you, Niko, in the first person, and then when they got some attention deleted their account, That's also not really evidence, you know? I mean, it could get a little bit more embarrassing, but before we get there, let's look at the human centipede of information that's going on here. The pipeline has gone in this order. We have Niko House, who is friends with Jack Pasebic, the white supremacist. Now, Jack Pasebic, the white supremacist, one who has made multiple posts, I will show you examples of them, doing his full little like, ooh, the alt-right is into 1848, or wait, I'm getting my signals wrong, 1488, sorry, 1488. New York Times, page 1488, military leaders endorse Trump. I tried, and if you make a video that's 14 minutes and 88 seconds long, wink, lol, ooh, ooh, long and won't get blocked. Pro trip, for every 14 days spent, 88 days outside at least. It's amazing for your body and spirit. Hillary will not notice cough at least 14 times for the entire 88-minute debate. Lol. Yeah, the Southern Poverty Law Center has an article on the white supremacist Jack Pasebic. It's pretty well documented. It's not one of those like, oh, you lefties call everyone you like Nazis. But anyways, you know, the evolution goes from there all the way to Ian Miles. Ian Miles, someone who is also admitted to flashbanging someone in a swatting. Well, someone got swatted because of a fake swatting call that Ian Miles had made, and a dog got flashbanged and killed in that swatting attempt. So he is a monster. Also makes a lot of yikesy things about lowering the age of consent. Here's Ian Miles, and if you show him these tweets, usually that's when you'll get the block. Too high. The age of consent is 16 in most European countries. It's 18 in the US for some reason. Redditors should be allowed to perv on 12-year-old girls on r/jailbait without being called out by Anderson Cooper. This one's a joke. Stupid sexy babies, they bring it on themselves. A gross joke though, pedophile joke. Joke him up being a pedo. Pretty weird, but either way, you could chalk this one up to humor. This one, no. Well, why not? A good number of people on all sex register are only there because of the draconian age of consent laws. I don't think that's a joke. There's not a setup punchline or that's just him doing the old pedo shit. So yeah, that's Ian Miles Chong. But we've gone from Ian Miles over to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who of course has an entire rant about how the Rothschilds have secret space lasers that they're using to start the California wildfires. Which, yes, is anti-Semitism. The same woman who, again, learned that the Holocaust was bad because she went to the Holocaust Museum also said that statues of Hitler will help us learn history. She's not a good person. She's a QAnon conspiracy theorist who was also one of the instigators for the January 6th coup attempt, and then backed that way back after it was like, oh, that got pretty serious. Things got real. But anyways, this whole thing, it gets even more embarrassing. So what actually happened? So what actually happened was this bozo replied to an account that retweeted AOC and didn't untag the account before he did it, which is why he thinks it's a lot more believable than AOC having an alt named Zaza Mocha with an anime. He was responding to AOC and at Zaza Mocha. And, oh, you didn't untag the other person? So you thought that other person was AOC? Well, of course that other person is going to reply in the first person. But then, Niko, when you blew this shit up, when you went to town and you were like, holy shit, I found AOC's fucking burner account, and then everyone else was like, whoa, he found AOC's burner account and ran with it. Holy shit, it was too late. It was too late. Way too embarrassing to admit that you don't fully know how to use this website, and in this case, you thought they were replying to you. This is how Twitter works. Of course. That doesn't make it AOC's banner. Now, you do have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. It is curious that AOC was getting so horny on Maine. I don't know if she's a secret lesbian, and maybe that's something she's been hiding, or it just happens to be that she's very supportive of these specific sex workers who have made statements that they are now going to be bending over to show their posteriors for her pleasure. That just could be her being encouraging, could be her giving the old thumbs up, or could be that you don't know how to use the very website. This is Hanlon's razor. I agree with you. This is Hanlon's razor. This is a perfect description of what exactly is going on here. And here's the thing, they've gone too far. It's gone, I see at this point now it's really funny. It's very, very funny because they have gone way too far. You have ran with this one, and if it's gone all the way up to the fucking House of Representatives, Marjorie Taylor Greene is fully like embracing this conspiracy theory because one man did not know how to use the website. And then there's a couple of common excuses. But this motherfucker is going to be acting like he cracked the Da Vinci Code for the next 6 months. By the way, shout out to Ray Vanna, who was on this yesterday. Also, his logic doesn't even make sense, Lamau. If she was using a burner account, she wouldn't have gotten a notification that she replied to her main unless she switched back to that profile. Oh yeah? Then why is the account deleted? Man, if I had 1,000 people harassing my no followers account, I would delete it too. Exactly! It makes... Okay, so Niko House replies to both at once, not knowing that he was actually replying to two two people simultaneously. At that point, the person gets a notification on this little account that there's a much larger account replying to you, making these accusations. All of a sudden, they reply in the first person, and this larger account is like, holy shit, that's AOC! And all of a sudden, the person with the small baby account is like, wait, what? And all of a sudden, the world is like, all the conservatives and right-wingers come out of nowhere like, is that AOC? That's AOC! Oh, it's AOC! Well, then, of course, you're like, ah! Delete? Oh, God. Whew. Oh, that was scary. Ooh, that was a lot of the internet. All of a sudden, a lot of people just coming out of the corner. It's not AOC. The worst people in the world came out of nowhere to you. Ah, that would be horrifying. Like, I remember the first time my Twitter account blew up, and it was on April Fool's, and it was after my YouTube channel got deleted, and then out of nowhere, my nothing Twitter account was getting blown up by all these huge accounts. H Bomber Guy, fucking Sam Cedar, Majority Report, all these people I had never met before, Hassan, and then all of a sudden it went from me getting like 5 notifications a day to just like, and I was like, nah. So I can't imagine if the reason for that was not in solidarity, was not a whole bunch of people showing love, but was actually a whole bunch of people just like the worst people out of nowhere being like, I see you, bitch. You're AOC, you sick fuck. Hey, AOC, good. Just like, oh no. No, thank you. No, account delete. And now I don't have to deal with that ever again. Yep. Goodbye. So there you are. Unfortunately, we don't get the Matt Binder degree, or I should say pedigree of debunking for this one. This is simply a case of someone not knowing how to use the website and the internet, and it blowing up into the amazing story you see before you. I don't know how much further it's going to get. I have not seen or heard what's going on with Tucker Carlson tonight. If he's doing the AOC burner account story, if he's running with it, or if his producers are actually going to take 2 seconds to be like, we Googled this one. It's embarrassing. It's you could go with it and then just you'd have to always double down. You can never ever try to accept that you were at fault here, because it's very embarrassing if you run with the story, the actual source of it. Yeah, it was very easy to find. It just someone didn't know how. Someone thought that they were replied to by AOC, but they didn't know how to use the website. Actually, they just didn't understand that someone else was tagged in their reply. So at that point, they didn't untag them in their reply, so that other person is actually who got the reply more likely and saw it than AOC, who would probably get so many notifications they wouldn't even notice. Like, it would just be a blip kind of thing in terms of AOC's actual notification. But for that other person, they were like, wait, what? And then that other person, you get it, right? Oh, the internet. It's a wild place. It can be fun.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback, because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arnie, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.